I'm out here to protest the whole economic system that's based on franchises and slave labor overseas. I feel that we're driving out American jobs and American industry, and we're replacing it with factory slaves from China and other countries whom people are being exploited. And you got to understand, these corporations and these factories are taking advantage of the poorest people in the world. For example, the average factory worker in China makes 6 cents an hour. 6 cents. And they work 15-hour days. They work all 7 days a week. And then these girls are just children. And they're making the things that we buy at the franchises. What's wrong? That's what's wrong.
So what do you make of all these different Occupy movements springing up in cities around the country, and what do you think will come of it?
I think people have had enough. People are doing a lot more than just standing around complaining. For example, everything I'm wearing today comes from a thrift store, even my beautiful jewelry. The reason that I'm wearing this is because I will not shop at a franchise in America. I want to see American industries, American jobs. I want to see clothing made here. And the truth of the matter is, right now, we don't even have a clothes hanger company in America. But it can be done. Texas Jeans makes jeans here. Burt Bees makes cosmetics here. It can be done. It's just there's companies that care about this country, and there's others that don't.
This movement has been criticized, if you will, for not having a clear mission or for not having a distinct leader. Is that a problem?
In fact, it is not, because we're all leaders. The 99% are 99% of leaders, of all shapes and sizes, diversity, intellectual ideologues, and community organizers. I'm a community organizer for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community, for the Middle Eastern community, and for unions and other such grievances.
How do you gauge the success of a rally like this?
We gauge the success of a rally of this if we have certain beings that wishing to undermine a movement, which just happened today. So you can call this movement a success already. The occupation hasn't even started yet. And we also have an occupation where the people are awoken and they have the intellectual ability to promote their grievances and have the ability to make sure that everyone has a fair chance to join in the civil discourse and protect the political process.
When people are driving by, it's kind of human nature to want to know, look over what's going on, what you guys are here for. And again, as Dan mentioned, there's nothing really specific that you guys are pinpointing. Is there anything you can tell us specifically right now that you guys are seeking to change, or?
We are seeking to change the political process and make it more transparency and bring freedom, liberty, and economic equity and social justice back to the American society.
Do you guys have any ideas of how you want to do that?
Reform government, promote direct democracy, to promote direct democracy and such, and reforming government.
How do you know political leaders are listening?
We know political leaders are listening when they have certain organizations cracking down on us. And we know when political leaders are listening when the great media protects the occupiers, as they have been doing such.
Talk to me about any plans to stay overnight here.
There may not be any plans to stay over here, but there are plans to stay in such organizations that will welcome us, such as the CSA building or the Service Employment International Union building. And we will find other places to stay overnight, but we will be occupying Albany.
We've seen crowds and crowds for Occupy Wall Street, Occupy Boston. How do you compare this turnout?
We are our own customized movement. We are part of them. We are their sister group. However, we do our own different thing because upstate New York is a little harder to organize.
I'm with the PR working group. So the first thing that I feel like it's important to state is that Occupy Albany is driven by a General Assembly and a consensus-driven decision-making process. So it's very difficult for one person to speak for the group, impossible actually. And so what I'll try to do is try to give the broadest sense of I'll try to say why I'm here, and then I know one of the things that we're trying to do is trying to get lots of different people to be prepared to speak for the press. So the people that speak are reflective of the diversity of the kinds of people here. You know, old, young, black, white. There are lots of different people involved with Occupy Albany. We think it's critically important that all those voices are heard, certainly not just a spokesperson. I'm in no way an official spokesperson, I'm just helping out with public relations.
How did we arrive here in world history?
Oh, that's a pretty big question.
Was there one event that triggered this movement?
You know, I think, in my opinion, I think it started probably in Tunisia when the gentleman set himself on fire, and that sort of set off the Arab Spring. And those movements, I know, have been a big inspiration as far as the occupation of public space that happened in Occupy Wall Street. And that was inspired by what happened in Egypt. And so I think, but I think it's been coming for a long time. You know, I think the economic inequality has really reached a breaking point as big banks continue to make record profits, and people can't find jobs. People who have always been able to not find jobs are particularly hard hit. So, you know, I just think we've reached a breaking point.
Have you seen any indications yet that these Occupy events anywhere in the country have made an impact?
You know, I think they're currently making an impact. I mean, we're all here. You know, that's the biggest impact. I think I don't know what the current number is, but they're happening all across the country. There's really no central organization behind them. They're just people who are fed up and have, for a variety of reasons, have come together to, just say, enough is enough, and that people, I think people need an economy that works for them. And so I think this is the impact right here. It's all around. People. It's like I don't know 95% of these people, 99% of these people. And so it's really kind of a wonderful, beautiful thing that's happening.
You guys are asking for change. You're out here, obviously seeking it, but we've gotten some pretty big answers as to how you want this change to come.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why we're here. I think for some clarity on how the decision-making process has been working with all of the Occupy group. We're having what's called a General Assembly, and that's at 5 p.m. today. And in that, the goal is to get everyone's voices heard and to proceed on group decisions. It's a slower way of doing things, but it's also consensus-driven, which takes into account everyone's voice and everyone's viewpoint. And we believe that's critically important because, as the 99%, people's voices have been excluded for far too long, and we'd like to change that.